ask ChatGPT to recommend me a book and then I'm gonna read it. Recommend me a book. The book that the ChatGPT recommended is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. It says that it's a beautiful written fantasy novel about magical, mysterious circus that appears without a warning and is only open at night. The story revolves around two young illusionists bound by a fierce competition and the people drawn into their enchanting world. The novel is atmospheric and filled with vivid description that will transport you to a place where magic feels real. Unfortunately, I don't have this book. I have The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, but The Night Circus I don't have. Let's see if we can find it at my local bookshop. The Night Circus. Okay, I don't see it. Another bookshop. Okay, found it at the bookshop. So we're gonna do a little book haul today. Behold the ChatGPT recommendation. Audrey Niffenegger, author of The Time Traveler's Wife, said about this book, "The Night Circus made me happy, playful and intensely imaginative. Erin Morgenstern has created the circus I have always longed for. This is a marvelous book." The Times wrote about this book, "A breathtaking feat of imagination, a flight of fancy that pulls you in and wraps you up in its spell." Okay. It's too late now to apologize. It's too late now to start it, but I will start it tomorrow and we'll see how good is the ChatGPT recommendation. Hello my sunshines! What a beautiful day to read today. Except every day it's a beautiful day to read. I have my tea here and my book and I'm going to start reading. So the first chapter starts really amazing. I will read it to you. The man billed as Prospero the Enchanter receives a fair amount of correspondence via the theater office. But this is the first envelope addressed to him that contains a suicide note, and it is also the first to arrive carefully pinned to the coat of a 5-year-old girl. Looks like it's gonna be interesting. Read the Anticipation. It's the first chapter of this book. This book it's about a circus that arrives without the warning at night. It says here that it opens at nightfall and closes at dawn. And the circus name is the Circus of Dreams. It's like an opening scene of a movie because we as spectators are seeing what is happening in there, and we as other people are asking ourselves, what kind of circus is only open at night? Because it's really interesting because all the circuses are open on day, but this one is opened at night. And what is happening in there and why it's only opened at night? Maybe there are vampires there. I also found this quote by Oscar Wilde. A dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world. Looks like it's gonna be interesting. It's like her other book. I DNF'd that one, and I hope I will not DNF this one too. It's really magical, but we'll see how it goes next. Have you read Joe Hill's Twittering from the Circus of the Dead? It's a short story, and this book, the Night Circus, it really reminds me, the beginning of this book, it really reminds me of that story. In that story we are following a family who wander into a circus, and their daughter Blake is twittering about what is happening in that circus. And at the beginning it's all fun and games, but then it becomes more creepy and creepy. And the beginning of this book really reminds me of that short story. In the chapter Unexpected Host, the man called Prospero the Enchanter receives a letter and a daughter that seems to have magical powers. So he is a magician too, and I'm wondering if their magical powers are magical or it's like an illusion, you know, like it is in the circus. I read one more chapter and it's real magic after all. For now this book reminds me of Dune, because we are thrown in the middle of the scenes. In each chapter we are in a different scene and we need to understand what is happening in there, who are these characters, what they are talking about, and in Dune it was the same, but it's more understandable than Dune. Dune was much harder to understand than this one. In this chapter we found out that Prospero is doing magic, but he tells people that he is an illusionist, he is not a real magician, so it's like a fake magician. But we learned that he is a real one, and his daughter Celia is also a real magician, and he meets I don't know, a friend or he meets a man basically. And they are talking about making a bet. So Prospero is gonna bet Celia. Another man named Alexander should find a person, a child, that will compete with Celia in some kind of I don't know what it's gonna be, but they are betting who would win, Celia or the Alexander's chosen child person. Now, the title of this chapter is Shades of Grey. And guess what I am thinking about now? Oh, that's beautiful. The building is as grey as the pavement below and the sky above, appearing as impermanent as the clouds, as though it could vanish into the air without notice. So yeah, it's gonna be a contest between Celia and another boy or girl, because the man that came to them in the previous scene is looking for a boy or a girl in this gray building from the first sentence. So I think it's gonna be a boy because there were 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl, and 1 boy and 1 girl had already spoken with our main man in grey suit, which is Alexander from the previous chapter. Now it's the time for the 3rd boy to speak with him, and I think it's gonna be him, the one who will compete with Celia, but we'll see. So, like I thought, when the boy is ready, the man in the grey suit takes him from the grey stone building and he does not return. In the next chapter, we are watching how the boy and the girl are growing up, so different from each other. The girl is raised by her father, and he's very cruel to her. He doesn't pay her much attention. He does things that I think a father shouldn't do to his daughter. On the other hand, the boy is raised by Alexander, and he is more patient with him. The boy reads a lot, he learns things in his way, and Alexander isn't cruel with the boy. Any one of them don't know what will happen, why are they raised like that, for what are they training. Just one time Alexander takes the boy. I think we don't know the name of the boy. Yeah, I think the name of the boy wasn't mentioned here. Alexander takes the boy in France, where he sees the performance of Prospero and another man, and he should tell which one of them is fake, and this is like a test to him. But Alexander never explains to him what they are doing there and who is this man. I've read one more chapter. So when the boy turns 19, the man in the grey suit buys him an apartment in London, and he is living now alone. He decides to go for a walk, and he drops one of his notebooks where he does all his studies of magic. A girl finds this notebook, and she tells him that her name is Isabel. And we finally learned the boy's name. It's Marco. Yeah, it's Marco. The girl says that she is from France when she and him are going to a cafe that looks very French-like. I think that she is Celia, but she, for some reason, she doesn't want him to know that she is Celia, but I don't know, maybe I am mistaken. And they are starting to talk about tarot cards, and he decides to show her real magic. And they go outside, and outside is raining. and he does some magic trick, and they both end up in a forest, and he kisses her. Which is really great, I think. But I hope she is not Celia, wanting to do something bad to him. Finished the part 1 of this book. I am now at part 2, Illumination. This book got very complicated after a while. At some point I got so confused about what was happening in there. After a while it got more easier for me to understand what is happening, but it was very complicated for a while, and I was lost. Like I said before, it reminds me of Dune, not because of the world building, but because we are jumping from place to place, from time to time, and it's like a puzzle that we need to piece together and understand what is happening there, and see the whole image. I was wrong before, because Isabel, it's not Celia. Which is okay, I suppose that it could be, but we find out that they are two different girls, and Celia and Marco finally meet each other, and Marco is scared when he sees what Celia can do. I don't know if Celia knows that Marco is her rival. From the first moment that Marco saw her, he understood that they will be rivals, and he is really scared now. We'll see how the next part of the book will go. I hope it will not be so complicated, because I had a headache while reading it, because I couldn't understand what is happening. I was very confused, like for several chapters I was very confused. Illumination, illumination, illumination. The next part's called Illumination. Let's begin to read it. I'm gonna read you the annotation. There is so much that glows in the circus, from flames to lanterns to stars. I have heard the expression trick of the light applied to sights within the cirque de rails so frequently that I sometimes suspect the entirety of the circus is itself a complex illusion of illumination. I guess this is why it's called illumination. Opening the mind. So next we are jumping here from place to place, from time to time, and we are meeting new characters that are interesting to follow, actually. One of the performances from this book reminded me of a performance from Now You See Me. There is a girl in a transparent cubicle, and she does this performance there in that movie, and a girl in this book, I don't know, maybe Celia, maybe not, because we are not given the artist's name, the ones that does this performance. We are just following different artists and how they do different performance in this circus, but we don't know who they are. So one of the girls from this book reminded me of the girl from Now You See Me. We get to visit Dresden, and we get the mystery of this red scarlet scarf. That's cool. So I finally finished the book, and I don't know what to say. It was either good or bad. It was good and it was bad. Sometimes I wanted to read more and more, and sometimes I wanted just to throw it away because I didn't understand the purpose of this book. In the end, it reminded me of Dark, the TV show. It was interesting to read this book while I was reading it, but once I put it down, I couldn't get myself to get back to reading because I didn't want to, basically, and I think I would have DNF'd it if it wasn't for this video, but I wanted to finish it and told you about my thoughts, which are, I don't know how to rate this book, because I don't know if I like it or don't. I don't know why ChatGPT it recommended it, so from all the books that are there in the world, why this one? Why this one? Why? So I think that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.